I get asked all the time, how and why did I start my business? And that's actually a really long story, and I'm not going to tell the whole story. If you do want to know, I can make a separate video on that, but it's just very long on how I got, the training, where I got the training from, and, going into details on that. And then so is the, how I'm going to catch snippets. Where I'm going to pick up at, people riding by. I'm holding up lanes and junk. Anyways, I'm at a stop sign. Anyways, where I'm going to pick up at is not where I got the training, not the schooling, not all of that. I'm going to pick up exactly when I started operating under the Robzilla name. So I already knew that I wanted to do auto body and paint and whatnot. And I knew I wanted to have my own situation. So I made a Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Bebo, MySpace. Nah, I ain't do all of that. Shout out to those that know what Bebo and MySpace are, man. If you don't know what Bebo and MySpace are, we can't be friends. Nah, I'm talking mess. No, I made an Instagram and I made a Facebook page under the Robzilla Auto Body name, and I started posting some of my work. Actually, it was a different name in the beginning. It wasn't Robzilla Auto Body, but I'll let you do your research. But I was posting under a different name. It was Robzilla, but it wasn't Robzilla Auto Body. But I'll let you figure that one out. And yes, the pages are still active. Okay, so I wanted everything to be perfect. I was like, okay, so I know how to paint. I know how to do yada, yada, yada. Cool, phenomenal. And there's this guy. He goes by The Old Man. He was like, just do it. Like Nike say, just do it. And I was all like, nah, I can't do it, man. It takes a lot of money. You got to have a 60-gallon air compressor. You got to have the air compressor alone is almost like $1,000. And then you have to have somebody rewire your home garage from 120 volt to like 220 or 240 volt, depending on where you get the compressor from. Some Menards have I think 210. And then I think Home Depot is 220, 240. I don't remember, but either 220 or 240. So almost $1,000. Plus you got to get the spray guns. And I'm like, bro, the spray guns that I was using in school, the ones that I'm used to, are like 300 plus. Except the primer gun. The primer gun was always a junk gun. We ain't really care about. We have cleaned that boy out because who cares? It's primer gun. You got to wet sand or dry sand that boy anyway. So it don't matter. We ain't really care. It was trash anyway. And when we had issues with that gun, we just threw that boy in the garbage. So again, big money. Then you got the air holes. You got the fittings and all this extra cost. So I told him, I'm like, it's not feasible. It's no way I'm going to be able to work my regular job and be able to afford all of this stuff right now. So just give me some time and I'm going to stack up a couple dollars here and there and we'll make it happen. And he told me no. It's unacceptable, me boy. No. I told him, yeah, I hear you. It sounds good. So days go by, weeks go by, months go by. I forgot. My mans comes and picks me up. Hey, what you doing today? I'm like, nothing, man. Chilling. He, all right, bet. I'm about to slide through. He slide through. Man, he picked me up. When we go to the Harbor Freight, he like, you ever been in this store before? I'm like, yeah, a few times. He like, oh, okay, cool. We're not leaving until you get what you need. I said, what you mean we ain't leaving until I get what I need? Like, what do I need? Buddy say, we ain't leaving until you get compressor, spray gun, hose. He's like, I don't know what all you need to paint. He said, I ain't BSing with you. He said, I know you got some money on you, whether that be cash or your debit card or credit card or whatever. I know you got cash. We ain't leaving. He took me to that joint that was far out where I'm like, yo, I ain't walking home. And he was like, if you need a couple dollars, I'll spot you. I ain't tripping. But we not leaving. So I'm in the store like, bro, I can't afford no 60-gallon air compressor. I'm like, I'm out of my mom's home garage because this is a young Rob. This is a young Robzilla. I'm still living at home with my mom right now. I'm like, bro, now I did get the okay from her that I can paint in the home garage. She's like, long as you clean up best you can, do whatever you can, yada, 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 I got the okay. But I'm like, look, I'm not paying an electrician to come over, and it's going to be a lot of damn money. He like, it look like you about to get an air compressor that could run off of 110 or 112 or whatever it is. And he just sitting there pushing the buggy around. He just cruising. And I'm like, bro. I get on my phone and I'm looking up all of this stuff. Like, okay, well, what can I do as far as painting? What is the, not the smallest, but like, what is the next size down from a 60 gallon that I can paint? Like a car or half a car, or, you know, like doors. And people online are like, bro, we don't recommend anything under a 60 gallon because a full-fledged body shop legitimately has an 80 gallon. I said, damn. So the 60 is the smallest. So I tell him, I said, look, bro, look, the phone, everybody's saying that 60 is the smallest. So we can't get this done. He said, well, I can't repeat what he said, actually. I can't repeat what he said to me. But whatever he said to me, I said, let me go back down this aisle. I don't like what you just said to me, dog. I don't believe this. So I had a budget of $500. And what I ended up getting was a 26 gallon. It was on sale. And that was actually his idea, because I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I'm like, bro, this ain't gonna work. Can't afford. Harbor Freight doesn't have a 30 gallon. They have a 29 gallon. I think that 29 gallon was going for like $3 something. The 26 boy was going for like $159 at that time. So he said, yo, we about to get this. And he was driving a Chrysler 200. I think at that time, this might have been 2014, 15. Regardless, he had that new boy at that time. You know what I'm saying? He like, we in a car. So we can't fit 29 gallon anyway. And that's past your budget regardless once we get everything else. So we're going with the 26. We get the 26 gallon, and then we also grab like the hoses. We grab some connectors, like the fittings and whatnot to go in between the lines to the spray gun. We get filters, pretty much everything we need to spray just to get started. Just the basics. We load all that stuff up in the 200, man, and then we go back to the house. Actually, we made one more stop because I did not get a spray gun from Harbor Freight. What I did was I got a spray gun from Home Depot. Which means, yes, I can only afford one. So I was spraying primer, paint, metallic, clear, everything out of that one gun. Boy, I was a cleaning mofo back then. Now, really? Now, the initial $500 that I invested into the equipment and whatnot, I made that back within like the first handful of cars and motorcycles. So, that was cool. Back then I didn't know nothing about saving money for the business. I was just like, bro, if I painted a motorcycle for $500, that was my $500. So if the material cost me, let's say $200, that's my $300. But again, I mean, you live and you learn. So there's no guideline, there's no book for this. There probably is a book for it, but I haven't read one that gives you enough information that like is useful. Okay, I lied. There are some that are useful, but kind of got to pick and choose your information, and I don't like some of the information that I be reading, and so, nah. Alright, so I'm changing the view up. Yes, my garage is a little bit of a mess. I got a lot going on, but I wanted to change the view up just a little bit. Look, I'm going to get on the bike the wrong way just to piss everybody off. Oh! So, you also didn't hear me say that I pulled a loan out. And I'm going to touch on that because a lot of people feel that I should pull a loan out in order to pay for a building and pay for tools and whatnot. I'm going to tell you why I don't. Okay, so I don't pull out a loan to pay for any of my business stuff because at the end of the day, it's a gamble. I don't know when my next person is, my next client, my next customer, I don't know when that person is coming in. Therefore, I don't know when my next dollar is coming in. But if I say, yo, let me borrow $50 million, let me get $40 million, and I'll pay you back in monthly installments, that bill is guaranteed. I try to keep my overhead as low as possible. So that's why. So, home garage it is. When I can, afford a certain amount of money to be able to get a shop, which I can afford small shops. The problem is finding them, especially during COVID right now. Big problem. Big problem. People want like $4,000 a month just for a rental. Bro, I can go mortgage a shop building and pay less than that. But I want to rent first. I start out small baby steps. That's how it's been from the very beginning, and that's how it's going to continue. You're probably wondering as well, why don't you get business partners involved? I don't mind a business partner, but those that I've talked to with money, they want things their way. Yo, this how we gonna do it, this what you gonna do, and this how we gonna regulate it. And by how we gonna regulate it, I mean how I'm gonna regulate it. And this how it's gonna be as far as the money split. No, that's my business. It's my name, it's my company, it's how I've been doing it, it's how I wanna do. If I wanna go trick all the money off, I'm gonna go trick all the money off. I'm not saying that I will, I'm just saying I don't want somebody else's opinion in my business. Cause it's mine. I don't go to your job and tell you, oh, this how you gonna run your job from here on out. No, I'm not your boss. So I don't want them involved. Alright, so I think that pretty much concludes this video. We're at 12 minutes. So I might make a part 2 on this. Giving more details, dropping a little bit more on how I started. But I think that pretty much sums it up. Started with $500 and bought all the necessary tools. Best believe I had to put in way more work because the tools that I had were not like, they weren't the best. So we'll get to that probably part 2. Tools weren't the best, so I had to put in way more work in order to get the quality of work that I was getting back then. But it was a start. That's the biggest part. Start. Shoot first, then aim, then fire. Because the shooting is the hardest part. And that comes from a YouTuber. I think it's Minority Mindsets. But I didn't know him back then. I learned that lesson with the old man making me start. So just start.